We all had a good weekend. Markets are struggling at this point, and it's not that we're actually getting massive direction pushes to the downside. We're kind of chopping quite a bit. Big push down, nice bounces up. But what I'm seeing here is only a very small amount of alts that are looking strong. But guys, there's obviously a lot going on in the world right now. I do want to send a lot of love out to the world, and we just have to fight the volatility. This is obviously a big shakeout phase. There's a lot going on. A lot of people are basically worried about where the world's at right now. Therefore, not a lot of risk is being taken. So again, I want to remind you, this is the hardest point to stay involved within the market. When the market wakes up again, you are going to be the one that profits, right? But we do have to go into defense mode and play it very smart. So when it comes down to trading, I am very much buying this dip right now, but I'm only buying 3 altcoins. And I want to speak about these altcoins today. And let's speak about Bitcoin because it is looking tough, but you got to zoom out sometimes just to calm the nerves out and know that Bitcoin is busy fighting a bull flag, right? We are here in a bull flag right now. We do have the dominance slowly trickling up like this. This usually at some point gets erased by one big red candle over there, but you can just see that the whole market itself, ETH is one I do want to speak about over here, but we are getting these bull patterns in play on the weekly chart, and I don't want you to lose focus of it. So guys, I'm here with you today. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers around the world on Sunday. Hope you had a good weekend. Hope you're looking after your mental health. And now again, I'm going to bring you guys the charts today, and let's fight another week together. We will catch the bottoms. We will rise from this. No more wasting time. Let's go.
I try and help everyone in my space, and this is what I get. I try and fight the devils, but inside I'm just like sniper. Welcome to Shell the Show.
And to fan, branch out the subscribe button. Guys, like it up. Let me know you're going to fight through this patch, right? Again, we are seeing a bit of pressure. We're seeing pressure in the world right now, and we're obviously seeing it within the stock markets as well. This is, and I want to zoom out here and show you guys, this is currently what's happening in the stock market. Not too bad. However, it is starting to show some warning signs, right? And the warning signs is us losing important trends and basically saying, hey, does the stock market itself want to play this inverse head and shoulders out? Right? Are we going to now come down to these zones over here, which means, hey, we've got to brace ourselves for a 5 to 10% drop within the stocks, right? Is this playing a big role in crypto? I think that's a big thing as well. What we can see very much when it comes to crypto itself, right? Is you can see that people are basically in the protection zone. People are kind of scared to take altcoin positions right now, right? You can kind of see it right now. You can see the risk appetite is not so much, but you got to remember that these big events, and again, lots of love out to the world for anyone that's affected, but these big events do mark bottoms. So don't lose that focus and mind as well, that this will be a little bit of a choppy stage right now that will shake a lot of the market out, but be very sure that the bottom will be coming within these phases as well. And then the markets will resume. Once Bitcoin starts to rise again, starts to break the 107, 108, we start to see then money get distributed. I was looking over here as well because it's important to obviously zoom out, okay, and just look at a couple of things. And again, we must not ignore that Bitcoin's actually holding incredibly well, right? When the world's going through a lot, right, there's a lot happening. Okay, Bitcoin's actually holding like a real coin. You know, it's really holding like a strong investment. And again, it should just up that confidence of yours that you do want to accumulate as much Bitcoin as you can over the next couple of years. Okay, because it starts to become a very reliable, strong asset, which is really, really, really good. We are very far from any bear market talks. I don't want to hear any of that over here. That we're very far from bear market talks, right? But on the midterm, we are seeing some downside embarrassment. Now, again, I want to remind you that we are forming this bull flag over here, okay? And any lower, higher low from here, we can start breaking out. Once we are through this phase, things will resume. Okay, right now your alts will get sucked a little bit dry. We can actually see the last week's been a little bit tough on altcoins itself. The only thing that's really been struggling with me is obviously a little bit of my long term and a little bit of my spot positions, leverage positions. Like I said, I was sitting in cash and waiting for opportunities, but I'm actually deploying today, right? I'm deploying today and I'm actually deploying on this pullback over here. But again, you will see that when markets pull back, you're obviously going to see a bit of bigger pulls from the alts. When markets wake up, you will see double, triple digits from the alts again. They will catch it up, right? The main thing for us is to make sure, obviously, Bitcoin's in a safe place. So there is Bitcoin. And as well, what you could see just on this chart alone before we zoom in, you can currently see where the two big walls are sitting, right? You basically have the big buying wall and the area that we don't want to lose on Bitcoin at $100,000. Okay. And you can see the resistance wall is this resistance of this 109 and 110. right? So what it's basically saying is in the zone, what you're going to start to see now, especially from last week going bullish and now turning a little bit bearish short term, you are now going to see an even playing field of longing and shorting within the markets. You're going to see a lot of longs get placed in these areas over here, and you're going to get a lot of bulls, a lot of buying that's going to be placed over here too. And what that's going to leave us with is two very big important liquidity pools, right? Liquidation pools. And you'll be sitting with the pool over here, okay, as these longs are getting bought, and you'll be sitting with the big pool over here to the upside. Now, again, when it comes to the downside, why I still think it's better to be on the green team than the red team right now, if you look at the downside over here, there is a lot of support to go through, right, for the bears to really take control of this market. Not only do you have supports at the 100, you have more support sitting at the 93, which is your important Fibonacci levels, and I'll show you guys this over here. Your 618 sitting at 92. So there's a big wall of support over there, very strong one. Then you have another wall sitting at 85 and another wall at 77, another wall at 73, right? So just on the downside alone, you could see that there are multiple walls to the downside, right? So you can see this over here. So for the bears to really get control here, you know, it has to take a lot. And I would say it has to obviously take maybe a bigger event than what's currently happening right now around the world. You know, something really black swan crazy to kind of do that. Again, it won't last too long, but you got to read the picture here and know that that's a long way here to be bearish, right? The big bearish line for me, obviously, when it comes to Bitcoin, is that big trend line over there at the bottom. Now, guys, again, your altcoins are going to be volatile, and at some point you get over it, right? At some point you start to mature enough to be and understand that your alts will move volatile, right? But you love them when the markets are going up, when they're going down, and when there's anything that the world's under threat. Bitcoin is always going to be the safety, and that's why you could see we're not seeing any crazy runs within the Bitcoin dominance. We're just seeing that it's slowly getting distributed over here because there's unsurety within the markets. The moment that there's surety again, this will start to drop off. Okay, but let's jump back over here. So that is all of your all of your bulls sitting here for buy-ups. So any big opportunities that drop there's a lot of support for us to go into this bear territory and to start to go down. Now you obviously look at the other side, which is important to always do. You always look at both and you prepare for both. Okay, we look at the other side. I see one resistance. I don't see any other resistances, right? Nothing. Okay, so again, yes, there is a control right now of bears holding this area, but after this, it is that free reign territory, you know, all the way to that 180, 200K. Not much resistance sitting at the top. Therefore, it is telling you to keep fighting and keep surviving. One of these supports will be a strong area bounce, and we're going to push up. The bears have one playing card left before parabolic season, right? One more playing card over there. Okay, and once you're through there, then we think start to push off again. So again, midterm, you can be bearish, you can be worried, and what that should do is to put you into a defense mode to make sure that you're preserving capital. Very important. Make sure that you're not over trading, that you're only trading strength. All of these type of things, yes, but to flip bearish is crazy, right? To flip bearish and to understand that what comes next at any point, there's one line of defense that they are currently holding, and they've only held it for the last 4 weeks, okay? Once that is gone, then it is open again. And what will happen? We all know it. Those that have been in crypto for a long time, money will get distributed into altcoins when Bitcoin goes parabolic at any point, right? Again, now let's jump into the altcoins. Also, don't lose fact that the altcoins are making a descending flag, right? Or descending wedge that you're seeing over here. This is a bullish pattern. It ain't a bearish pattern, right? When this was happening, obviously, a few weeks back, a lot of people were bearish, but what it was forming was a bullish wedge. Right? Once we pop through the wedge, you could see what happened. Okay, so again, this is not doing this. This is where I would be worried, right? We are not doing that. We are doing the opposite. Okay, which means that yes, there is support down over here. And that's very likely what I want to speak about today. If the market wants to have another dip off, that we're going to drop into that zone over there. Not much further. If we look at percentage wise, okay, another 5-6%. Okay, to the down, and then there's mega support within that. Not only that, there's a bunch of support sitting here on the left side over here where we are right now. Okay, there is a lot of support on alts. Okay, but the main thing to also pay attention to is, again, the pattern that is being formed. That if you look at this itself, okay, there is the next resistance over here, and there is the current support. Again, what you're going to have now is a bunch of longs and shorts that are going to now enter the market, and also realize that there is a lot of support when you look to the downside on alts here, and there's only 2 or 3 resistances to the top until we're actually back to all-time highs. Okay, so again, this is bull flag. So what does that mean? It means I'm paying attention to right now, any of these dips, I'm paying attention for buys. This trend is a big trigger. And from there, I'm still expecting us at any point to rally up to the all-time highs. And that's when confidence is really going to enter the market. One altcoin that's looking a little bit concerning, but I am going to give it the benefit of the doubt this week, okay, because the candle that finished last week was strong, is Ethereum. So Ethereum is starting to make an uprising wedge. This I need to be aware of, because if I look at where is the next support, okay, it's sitting at $1,900. I gotta keep that in mind, that if there is a bearish scenario here, ETH is going to be one that's going to drop pretty hard. Okay, so it just gives me a good idea that when it comes to any important positions or any money that I don't want to kind of lose on ETH, okay, too much, especially on a drop like that, these are my protection zones, which is around the 2-3. So it gives me that idea of protection. But the next thing as well is, because we're making a descending or an uprising channel, may call it, right, it does mean that bulls have to start speeding up. It means we do have to start turning this into support very quickly. I do like the candle that formed last week. It is showing us that there is resistance here. We're seeing wicks everywhere. So this is 100% where the wall is sitting right now on ETH, okay, between this 2.7 and 2.8. Then after that, we're sitting at 3.6, right? So there's a very big short squeeze that comes therefore after that. But I got to realize that there's selling pressure coming. But one thing that I do like about last week's candle itself is that we did finish green. When we finish red, it means the bears actually won the fight that week. Remember, candles are going to tell you stories. They're going to tell you that, hey, we started off strong and the bears sold in, but which team still won, right? And last week, it gave us an idea that the green team still won, which sometimes mean that wick there was not for nothing. Even though that it gave us a wick and showed us a rejection, what we don't know is we actually ate away that wall. You see how we pushed our head through there, which means that this wall, maybe the next time we get there, is going to be a lot weaker. And therefore, when we break it, we've got to realize that after this, the 3.6 to 3.7 is the next major squeeze to the upside. Now, what I like about the bulls winning this, it does give us an idea that throughout now this week, we should actually see this green candle start to push up. I see that is terrible the way. I don't know why the drawings do that. Okay, but we should start to see a candle push up then. Okay, and then it's vital we get through that area over there. Now, what's still, again, keeping me bullish on ETH, okay, is that we are outside this massive descending wedge, right? We are outside over there. It is cramping up. It is telling us that we need some good news soon, but you can see here between the support and the resistance, we are close. Until we've lost that support, I'm very bullish on ETH, because I know that the next move on ETH is the big play from here to a push up to these zones over here, which is an outperformance of 70 to 80% over the Bitcoin price. And I am still very much a believer that we'll see an all-time high Bitcoin pretty soon. Okay, so one of the trades that I'm definitely speaking about today is ETH, and it's one trade that I want to be longing. I'm going to go through the short time frame analysis now for you guys. I'm going to be loading up a little bit in the zone over here, because this for me is the last support on ETH before we start looking at the 2-4 lower sort of areas. Okay, and therefore, when we have these dip-offs, I like the bounce that I saw yesterday. Okay, the bounce was pretty strong. Nice strong bounce over there to the upside. I actually want to see what that looked like on the daily. Okay, nice. It filled the daily with a nice little strong wick over there. Let's zoom in. Okay, this is what I see. I see a drop-off into these zones, not lasting much longer. Maybe it's market open. We shall see. Okay, from here, I'm seeing a push up. Not only a push up, I'm seeing us go back to the major highs. There's a big resistance sitting at the 2.660. After that, we have a push to the 2.8 and we start marking it. So ETH, again, I like this because I put these bottom trends in. I know that I must protect myself at around 2.510. Okay, I am taking this trade and I'm loading up a lot in this trade. I'm loading up on low leverage. And what I'm also doing is I'm popping in a damn trend line. And when the trends break, I'm going to start building positions pretty quickly. I'm going to use the scary time and I'm going to build some of the biggest positions of my life, right? Because I know that when this market starts to shift, again, did I say I'm trading 100 coins? Crazy? No. I'm starting small leverage positions with 3 tokens right now, and I'm going to build them up. When the market's ready for everything to pop, then I'll start trading more tokens. For now, I'm trading the strength, I'm trading what is hot, and I'm trading this ETH play over here. Now, let's go through what I'm seeing on Bitcoin. This is what I see happening on Bitcoin. The bounce was actually really good that we saw. Strong bounce, and it actually broke through the 618, which I like, which means that that bearish wall that was sitting up over here is basically not there, right? You see, we smashed through it. We actually went to 786. So what that means for me, it means that the probability right now of a higher low are pretty high, right? If we did not clear past 107 yesterday, I'd be stressed. But right now, I'm seeing a higher low incoming. The support is sitting between this 104 and the 106. From here, I'm seeing a quick dip off at any moment now. then a temporary bounce, and then we start pushing back up to the 109 areas over here. I'm trading every low, every higher low, like it's the one that's going to break all-time highs, right? That's all that I'm doing, and I'm making sure on any imports in cash, I'm putting stop losses in the play. When it comes to the Bitcoin dominance, it is trickling. Yes, it's still going up slightly, but it's not going parabolic anymore, right? So for me, this is because there's obviously uncertainty in the world right now. So people are kind of just sitting, Bitcoin's holding a little bit stronger, but I'm still very much sure that when we start to pop off, we're going to see a drop within the Bitcoin dominance, and we're going to start to see a real push to the upside. The next coin that I'm buying right now is Solana on this pullback. I'm buying Sol. Okay, there's two areas that I'm buying it over here. Okay, I'm buying it here between this 148 and 150. I'm starting some small leverage positions. Okay, and I do have limit orders at 144 for a shakeout. But I'm definitely buying Sol. Sol is one of the strongest altcoins right now. I was even looking at it this morning to the Bitcoin pairing chart. You could see how beautiful it is bouncing to Bitcoin over here when the market starts to turn bull. Sol for me is definitely one of the stronger alts right now, and it's one alt that I think is going to pop harder than the rest. Once we are done this little shakeout over here, I'm then seeing Sol start pushing up back to the 170. Not only that, obviously back to the highs. And I'm getting ready for a $230 Solana. That's what I'm preparing my trades on. The next one that was not available, but if it dips into the zone, I am buying it and I'm building trades on it, is Sui. Sui has been a little bit expensive over the last couple of weeks. It is now getting to reasonable entries for me. We pumped all the way to $4.2. We are now coming back into the mid $2 range, 4.2. Yeah, now we come to the mid. That for me is a good discount. If I look at the highs alone, we are 31% from those highs. And if I look at the all-time highs, again, I think Sui is going to be worth a lot more than what it was in those highs over there. We're now down 45% from the highs. I look at this and I see a damn Lamborghini, the one that I've loved my whole life, and I see it at a 45% discount. I'm in, right? Now, again, not only that, I think it's going to have a very strong bounce when it hits the support. So my buys that I'm waiting for, this is the only one that I'm not buying just yet. I'm putting limit orders. It's sitting at the 2.7 to the 2.82 is my buy zone. I'm buying again 20, 30, 40% of my positions in these hot zones. The rest I'm adding on the breakout trend once we have confirmed that the bottoms are in and the market is going to start pushing. What I'm preparing for over here is a push to $3.8 as a short-term trade on Sol, on Sui. Again, this may take up to 2 weeks for that. And what I'm obviously preparing for the higher time frame is entries for up to the $5 to $6 range on the higher time frames. The rest of your altcoins are bleeding slightly at this point. Just know you don't have to catch any falling knives. And I don't think it's worth selling right now. I really don't. I think another 10% drop and we're going to find liquidity at any point. So I think selling now in long-term bags is crazy. That's just my opinion. Okay, but when it comes to trading them right now, they're a little bit far from the trends. Okay, they're coming into good supports, and there's a lot of support zones. There's support over here. They're telling us that there's a next support over here. Okay, there is a bunch of support sitting here. I'll be patient with them, wait for them to have a nice, strong little bounce, and then wait for strength and then get through. So a lot of them here, lots of support zones. Again, these are the big bounce zones we've been bouncing at. There is support over there. Will we go that low? We have to lose these zones first. You can see there's still a bit of support in these areas over here. Cardano, again, I think Solana, I think Doge, I think Cardano, Algo, AVAX, Injective. Every coin that I spoke about, I have zero regrets. I've been buying them. I'm happy in these areas. The only thing we got to protect is our actual trading portfolios. Guys, if you are trading, a big shout out to BTCC because I have a big announcement, right? I have my sniper school, my favorite school, the one that I finally built. It starts in 7 days. And I don't care if you've done Sniper School 1 before, you want to do this school. It is a brand new school. It is incredible. It's my game plan on how I got to $1 million. It's incredible. It's going to help you with everything. And I can promise you, it's probably one of the best educations I've ever done. Remember, you can get the school for free, guys. Go straight below in the description here. Open up accounts. One of them is BTCC. If you open up accounts, you get a 10% bonus, okay, above $500, right? You get extra bonuses, okay, and you get discounts on trading fees as well by using my link, right? So that costs you nothing and it gives you a bunch of benefits. Once you've signed up with that, you then go click. It may be BTCC, it can be Bybit, it can be Blofin, okay? It can also be WeX, any one of those accounts, and join my damn School. Next week, this will be, I'm telling you, it's the best TA school in the world when it comes to crypto. And I'm telling you, this is going to be one of the biggest schools ever. You get to see it first. No one's seen it. I even heard a little hint about an indicator that's coming through there. I don't know much. I'm just Sheldon. But I heard something, but nonetheless, you will not regret it. Join the school. Click on it over here. You will then register. Okay. Register, start your journey now. You'll see me here in Dubai talking about the school. I promise you, we will not regret it. It'll be incredible. So shout out to BTCC and shout out to Sniper School. Guys, I will see you tomorrow. Let the market settle a bit. I told you the bounce zones. I don't think much lower. Okay, and I think we're going to see strong strength. I'm only trading strength right now, and we keep soldiering through every day. Lots of love. See you all tomorrow. Have a great day. Bye-bye.